Yo, 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 yo. Mm, 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 mm. Welcome back. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. I'm your boy Swipa. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We are on the way to 10,000 subscribers. Y'all, so glad to be back. We are fully getting into the swing of NBA basketball again for exactly the way you wanted it to go from a team perspective. They weren't able to secure the victory, but the good news is you got to see what the Denver Nuggets would look like without Nikola Jokic in the lineup. And I got to tell y'all, after watching him last year with the Denver Nuggets went 2-6 when he was not on the court, to see what they did today, that was a much better showing than we've seen previously. So again, it wasn't what you wanted it to be all the way. They did not secure the victory, but the good news is that for the most part, they came out and showed that we at least can put up a decent performance and do what we need to do and handle business to at least make it a competitive game. So get everything out the way. Nikola Jokic did not play today. Nikola Jokic has been dealing with a wrist injury on his shooting hand, something that he was dealing with during the season from the end of the midseason on for all of last season, and then all the way up until when he playing in the World Cup qualifier and even Eurobasket. He had been kind of dealing with it, but it wasn't anything bothering. But basically, over the last few days or so, there's just been a little bit more precaution the Denver Nuggets wanted to take around the wrist injury. They just want to make sure that it's not something that lingers into the season. So they just want to make sure that he's good. And so right now, he's fine. Michael Malone is not stressing it. Nikola Jokic is not stressing it. It's nothing that we need to be worried about right now. But you know what? It'll be all right. I think the thing is, people just got to realize it's preseason. It's all about maintenance. By the way, y'all, hey, shout out to Rocky Lotto. I know y'all seen it, bro. If you grew up in Denver, you remember Rocky Lotto, man. So this was the company, man. So shout out to Rocky Lotto. But look, check it out. So tonight, this was going to be a prime opportunity for the Denver Nuggets to see what an offense led by Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic would look like, or Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray would look like. But the thing is that basically into the first half, Jamal Murray on his second stint came back into the game, and when he was playing defense, versus DeMar DeRozan, he stepped back on his left leg a little bit, and he kind of maybe tweaked his hamstring a little bit. So here's the thing: one of the reasons that, and they ended up taking him out the game. They just said like, "Hey, you're done for the rest of the game. Don't want to put too much pressure on you." But the thing that people need to realize with this is that when you're coming back from a major injury like this, like an ACL recovery, a lot of this is just going to be about maintaining your body and letting your body get used to playing 20 to 25, 30 minutes a game, running, jumping, playing defense, and playing at Jamal Murray and mentioned last time, playing at an NBA speed. Because that's way different than playing at scrimmages or even playing an open run during the summer. You have to make sure that you're continuing to take care of your body. And so that's what's happening with Jamal Murray right now. Again, I'm not saying it's nothing because it's not nothing, but I'm also saying it's not something that you need to worry about a lot. Again, coming from a football background, I've seen this for people. Again, you just have to get used to playing again. You have to get used to playing again. You have to get used to making sure that you're ready to go on a game by game basis. So it was not a great game from Jamal today, but honestly, you could tell he didn't really necessarily try to turn it up at any point in time. But Jamal Murray today, respectable numbers, but nothing to write home about at all. He didn't do anything super impressive. He didn't necessarily try to do anything impressive either. But the good news is that he was able to come out of the game, and again, you got to see him run a little bit. Jamal Murray tonight had 2 points, had 5 assists, and 0 of 4 shooting, and he was a net neutral today. But like I said, last game, you got to see him going in the second quarter. You got to see him a little bit more explosive, some of those Murray flurries that you wanted to see. But it is what it is. I understand that everybody wants to continue to see him do more, get more involved. But I think the thing with Jamal is we just want to make sure that his minutes are increasing and that his body's able to make sure he can play in those minutes. That's why you don't want to play him on a lot of back-to-backs. And so when we start the season and they have a back-to-back against Golden State, it's iffy if he's going to play or not. Because right now it looks like he's not. But again, it's just part of the maintenance thing. Now, I hope that this is something that he can get over in the next couple of days. And by get over, I mean like his body's like, all right, bet it wasn't that serious. It was just like a small tweak. I just didn't want to press it too much. Fine. But then also Jamal's gonna before he tore his ACL, he was getting nicked. So it's not as if like he's always kind of had these little injuries he's had to go through or little places where he's hurt. But I think with this, it's just going to be about making sure he's confident mentally that his body is able to do what it's supposed to do and that he can trust his body to do what it's supposed to do. So, again, I'm not going to be too worried, obviously praying that Jamal continues to get healthy and that he continues to feel comfortable and all that other stuff. But I'm not going to worry about like long-term anything like that with him. Again, Nuggets are just going to take it slow. I mean, again, it's been 18 months. It's been 18 months since Jamal Murray tore his ACL, basically, by the time he comes back. So that's a long time. Again, you got Chris Godwin coming back from 7 months from an ACL injury. And again, if you remember, he tweaked his hamstring as well versus the Dallas Cowboys. And he sat out from week 1 all the way up until last weekend, which was week 4. So that goes to show you sometimes it just takes your body a little bit. So everybody chill out. Please chill out. Again, if you need further examples, look at Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin literally came back in 7 months, and even he had a hamstring injury he had to deal with for a couple of weeks. So everybody, relax. I see people are going off in the comment section for whatever else, man. But everybody, please relax. Goodness gracious. Anyway, so check it out. The good news of the night, the major story of the night, the Denver Nuggets defense wasn't great. But like I said, it was crazy hot shooting. The Denver Nuggets actually had a really good first quarter. The score was 26-27 at the end of the first quarter. But then I don't know what happened. In that second quarter, both teams started going off. And the Denver Nuggets scored 37 points in the second quarter. And then you had the Chicago Bulls that scored 45 points in the second quarter. And then they went into the half down 72-63. They went into the half down 72-63. So, like I said, it's not what you wanted to see. It's not ideal. I get it. You want to see more defense. Michael Malone said that he wants them to be a top 5 defense. So I know he's going to be stressed out about that tonight. They scored 130 points. He's going to say even in preseason, that's not a good look. But like I said, y'all, tonight, the Chicago Bulls shot 60% from 2, 54% from 3 at 15 of 28 and 89% from the free throw line. And the Denver Nuggets shot 47% from the field on 41-88. And then shot 41% from 3 on 14-34. And 17-21, 81% at the line. So again, it is what it is. A lot of that's going to be shooting variance. I'm not going to put too much into preseason defense because, I'm not really buying into all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of don't worry about that. Not in preseason, at least. The first few games, I really want to see first 10 games, getting used to Ryan Saunders and the scheme he's implementing and how they're going to continue to improve as an overall team defense. I want to see what their strategy looks like when they're really putting on the intensity. I want to see all that stuff. So not uber worried about it. But let me get to the dude I've been wanting to talk about. Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr., 22 minutes tonight, had 20 points. He had 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 8 of 17 from the field, 4 of 8 from the three-point line with 2 steals, and he had 2 turnovers as well. Michael Porter Jr. is the man. Michael Porter Jr. is a borderline all-star player. And I say borderline, meaning that the talent for all-star is there. Michael Porter Jr. has every tool available to him to be that kind of a player. You see it that when he's healthy, he's a dynamite scorer. He was scoring at the rim. He was scoring from the mid-range, and he was hitting three-pointers. And he had some in-rhythm threes that he was getting, especially in the first half. Michael Porter Jr., through 2 quarters, had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist on 6 of 12 shooting, and 3 of 5 from the three-point line. He was shooting 50% in the first half and 3 of 5, 60% from the three-point line, which is great. Really great. Defensively, again, he got beat on some transitions, some backdoors. He also wasn't. It was mostly a transition defense. He got beat backdoor. He got out sprinted down the court and alley-oop at one point in time. So again, he absolutely needs to continue to get healthy and also make sure he's mentally locked in, playing defense and all that. But I'm not super concerned with it again. I want to see what everybody's defense looks like when the season starts up. But right now, I want to make sure that he's confident. I want to see you play confidently. I want to see you get into the basket. I want to see you playing defense and contesting, which you was. And he actually had a nice little isolation stop on Zach LaVine. That was actually pretty nice. So there were moments where it's like, all right, the defensive potential is there, especially with that 6'11" frame that he has when he has shoes on. But I think, again, it's continuing to be in the right places. But offensively, I would say that if I had to measure between him being in the right place as opposed to last game to this game offensively, it was much better. Just spacing was better, but also Jokic wasn't there. So some of this is just going to be reinvigorating himself with Jokic and making sure the offense works that way. But I mean, honestly, it was good. It was a good overall performance. Like I said, you want to see that your third best player, maybe even your second best player for at least the first half of the year. We'll see, depending on how the injuries and all that stuff come along for Murray. But Porter was really good tonight. Again, defense wasn't as consistent all the time, but there are different things about his game that you can just see. And he was even trying to pass tonight. He had some turnovers passing today. He had one that he tried to get to DeAndre Jordan, like a really tight window, contested pass to try to get in there that led to a turnover. But you see that he wants to do it. You see that he wants to be a better playmaker. So, we'll see. We'll see how we continue to improve there. But shout out to Michael Porter Jr. I love it. And then my next shout out, Bones Highland tonight. Bones Highland had 24 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists, 7 of 14 shooting, 4 of 8 from the field, and 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 1 block. And he had 3 turnovers as well. Bones Highland got going in the second half. Now, again, this is, he started the second half because Michael Porter Jr. was in and KCP and Aaron Gordon and also DeAndre Jordan. And then so they ended up going Bones Highland over Jamal because Jamal went in the locker room. And again, somebody asked, is Maul straight? Again, Maul, it seemed like he might have just tweaked his hamstring a little bit. I already brought up the example that when Chris Godwin came back from a 7th-month recovery from an ACL injury in Game 1 versus the Cowboys, he was playing very well, burst, all that. But then what happened was that he tried to reach down and grab a ball that was really low from Tom Brady, and he ended up hurting his hamstring, and he missed 2 weeks. So it's one of those situations where you just want to make sure that he's not missing time. So if he feels something, you just want to take him out. All right, let's just do some treatment on it. Let's do some stim, make sure that he's getting stimulation and blood flow through his hamstring. And again, a lot of this is just continuing to make sure that his body is used to playing NBA basketball consistently. So shout out to Bones Highland tonight. Bones Highland had some really good transition finishes and passes in the first half. Bones Highland, you can tell it's going to be, with Bones, because he's very smart and he's locked in, I don't see it taking forever, but I do think that transitioning into a consistent 6-man role, meaning in a backup point guard / starting point guard role on a consistent basis, yeah, it's going to take him some time to get used to that because physically that's a demand. Like even just emotionally, what you have to be prepared for, getting other people involved, passing. Right now, Bones Highland is really doing really well as a scorer, ISO scorer, but he needs to have a little bit more playmaking in him, a little bit more facilitating in him that comes out of his game, especially as he going to get started with the starters this year because Jamal's going to sit at times because they want to make sure he's healthy. So with that, he just needs to continue to mature, but he has all the tools to do it. So 24-2 on 7 of 14, 4 of 8, and 6 of 7 from Bones Highland. So that was a good performance from him. Aaron Gordon had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3 on a step back, I believe, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. You love to see that. He had 2 blocks and a steal as well. Now, he didn't play great defense today. Again, preseason, not looking too deeply into it. DeMar DeRozan had 22, 3 and 3. He was 9 of 15. And he was like, basically, that was his matchup. That was his matchup. And DeMar was cooking him. But I could also tell that Aaron Gordon wasn't like trying to solidify himself defensively tonight. So AG played a good game offensively. Again, being the 4th option now, or really the 4th or 5th option, depending on the night it's for KCP. Yeah, that's great. 14 and 4, you love to see that. Again, not a lot of assist numbers across the board, but only in 0 for him. So Aaron Gordon played a good game. Again, defensively, like I said, I don't really sweat defense in the preseason. I want to see what their scheme looks like. I want to see what their rules are and how they commit to it, and then we'll find out from there. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 4 points, 4 assists. He was driving and kicking a lot. He was 2 of 3 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3. He had 1 steal as well. KTP continuing to figure out his role in the system. and how he works with the Denver Nuggets. But I'm encouraged by the level of defense he's able to play and his transition speed, and meaning transitions from when he's off ball, coming from the screen or the pick, the attempt screen, and then being able to shoot through the ball on a handoff situation or when they're trying to pass it to the top of the key. He actually has some really good speed coming out of that, like kind of like Gary Harris did. But that corner three was wide open for him today, and he missed it. But I'm telling you right now, Jokic, Murray, Porter, all taking the attention to the defense. You got a 45% three-point shooter in the corner. Yeah, man, he's going to eat because like he will drive. He drives and kick. He actually has decent ball handling skills. But, man, just him operating within the flow of the offense, man, there's so many opportunities for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I'm really excited to see what he does as a player this year. So much potential for him. So shout out to KCP. I think he's going to do really good. Again, haven't got a chance to see him light it up on defense. He did play against Zach LaVine today. So to be fair, Zach LaVine has 7, 2, and 6 on 3 of 8 shooting. So we got a chance to see him, what he looks like defensively. But, like I said, until we get to the real deal, we can't get there yet. But I like what KCP looks like so far. DeAndre Jordan started, and he had 7 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists, and he was 3 of 5 from the field. He had 4 turnovers. He is not good on dribble handoffs at all. That's something I noticed immediately. But DeAndre Jordan works on the board, and with the first stint, that first unit, he looked good, and he was trying to deter shots as well. So I'm getting more comfortable the more I see him with the Denver Nuggets in terms of the way he fits on the roster. And let me say this: the bench unit that was out there today was Bones Highland, Davon Reed, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, and Zeke Naji. And they look very athletic. So putting DeAndre Jordan and Zeke Naji with that second unit with all athletes, and then you got Christian Brown and Peyton Watson coming off the bench as well as other wing players that are all 6'6" to 6'8". They have a lot of potential in that second unit, and they're going to switch everything from 1 through 4. And if Zeke's in the game, they're going to switch everything 1 through 5. So they have a lot of potential. We just got to get some shot making and some play making from Bones Highland, Bruce Brown, really, to make that thing come alive. They got to hit their shots, but a lot of potential there. DeAndre Jordan played well. Bruce Brown, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 of 4, 1 of 3, 1 of 2. Not much to write home about the bench today. 7, 2, and 1 from Zeke Naji, 2 of 7, 1 of 3, 2 of 2. Davon Reed, 5, 2, and 3, 2 of 4, 1 of 2. Again, but this is what I'll say. I think the biggest thing that I'm looking for with that unit is how do you lock in defensively? Because if you can get stops, meaning that if your offense is average or below average, but your defense is slightly above average, and you can if the Nuggets are in a situation where they're up 6 when you come in the game, when Jokic leaves the court, if they're up 6, and then the defense can make sure that they're good enough because they're switching and because they have enough playmaking and shot making, again, between Bones, between Bruce Brown, and then enough shooting between Bones, Bruce Brown, and Davon Reed and Jeff Green and Zeke Naji, and then some rim protection and rebounding from DeAndre. If they can be up 6 when Jokic steps out and the game is like a +1, a +2, or even a net neutral, that right there, if they're only a -6, then that is a winning solution. That's how you win those third quarters too, that the Denver Nuggets have really struggled with. So, we'll see. We'll see. Ish Smith had 8 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. Shout out to East. And he also had 4 or 5 from shooting as well. And Christian Brown had 2 points, 3 rebounds. Blocko had 1 rebound, 2 assists. And then Peyton Watson had 7 points, 3 of 5 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, making 3-pointers, man. Peyton Watson clearly has been working on that. So, again, but the transition was funny. At one point in the fourth quarter, the Denver Nuggets had 5 transition points. 5. So you could tell even without Jokic in the game, they play at a slow pace already, but they play almost even slower, it seemed, with Jokic out the game. So, again, what I was encouraged by is Michael Porter Jr.'s performance. What I was encouraged by is Bones Highland has the scoring chop. She's continued to grow as a facilitator. I'm encouraged by what I've seen from DeAndre Jordan. I'm encouraged that, again, KCP and Aaron Gordon, you see a lot of potential there, and then Bruce Brown as well. That clothing lineup, like I said, at some point in time in the season, in the playoffs, you're going to see a lot of, Lord willing, everybody's healthy. Dale Valente, God willing, everybody is healthy. Is Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, KCP, Aaron Gordon, and Jokic. And there's so much potential there. And I really am hopeful and hoping for the best for DeAndre Jordan. Because if he can play and give you good minutes, and you can stagger him and Zeke Naji off the bench, there's just a lot more you can do with that. So much more you can do with that, y'all. So, y'all, by the way, man, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. We are on the way to 10,000 subscribers. Hit the like button for the video, y'all. We will be back. We have another preseason game coming up. Make sure that you like the content. You let people know about it, y'all. Hey, Swipa gang, you know what time it is. This year is going to be a blast. Championship season coming up. We'll see. Hey, y'all, I'm going to see y'all soon.